My name is Travis Vickerson and I'm Vice President of Operations at Shippers Inc., a New England-based tree care company. And today we're going to be talking about gear selection as a climber. The very first thing you need to know as a climber is each thing you choose is going to be independent upon you and what you want and what you like. All right, that's one thing that's beautiful about climbing in trees, is it's very specific to how you wish to climb. There's a lot of right ways and a few wrong ways to do it, but let's start with the gear selection first. So here, first thing I like to look at as a climber is how I carry my gear. I prefer to carry my gear in one bag. It makes it very easy for me to move it to a job site from the truck and move it around the job site as needed. Keeps things laid out very well. I prefer the Notch Pro Access bag as the bag I like. There's many bags on the market to choose from. Find one that works for you, that's going to fit your style and carry your gear correctly. First thing is helmets. All right, we want to make sure we have good PPE. There's a lot of climbing helmets on the market. All right, many different to choose from. I choose the Kask Super Plasma or Zenith when doing line clearance work. Petzl helmets are really good helmets as well, but it's really about comfort, what fits your style of head, because we all have different kind of heads, and what functionality you like. There's the Fanner Protos on the market that's got the earmuffs that sweep back into the helmet as well, that some climbers enjoy over the earmuffs on the outside. My Super Plasma here is already linked up with a Sena on the back, so I have Bluetooth communication with my crew as I'm working. I've got my earmuffs here and my visor here. All right. My visor doesn't take the place of my eye protection, though it is rated for eye protection. I also wear safety glasses underneath my visor, so in the event that I get into a really dense canopy and it's really shaded, I can flip my visor up and I've got my safety glasses on underneath. Nothing wrong with the visor. I like having a visor on my helmet. It's really beneficial because it provides me the shade as well as takes some of the glare away when in heavy light conditions, little sunny days. But again, when I get up in the canopy, I like to flip this up. Make sure the ear protection you choose is going to be right for the work you're doing. Here I've got a low decibel rating ear protection made by Kask. All right. They've got different levels, green, yellow, and red. Red being the highest level of hearing protection and green being the lowest. They all meet the 85 decibel time-weighted average over an 8-hour day, but I prefer the smaller, lighter, because I'm not going to be next to the chippers often. I'm not going to be near some of the heavier machineries often, so this still meets it and provides me a little bit sleeker design, a little bit more swept in, and it stays a little more compact. Next we want to look at top of my bag is my saddle. All right. This is the Teufelberger Tree Motion. All right. It's a saddle I like. Lots of different saddles on the market again. Very comes down to specific to what you like and your needs. I prefer the Tree Motion because it's very comfortable. It's very adjustable. I can adjust the lower back portions here to really make it where it's going to fit onto me best. All right. But again, lots of different things on my saddle. I have lots of different tools on my saddle. Make sure you pick the tools that are going to benefit you the most in the tree. For me, I look at tools as having multiple functions. If a tool only has one primary function for me, I have a hard time justifying carrying the weight on my saddle. Now, with that being said, some tools, such as my foot ascender here, my knee ascender is only going to have one function. That's going to be used for ascents, right? But again, I have to find a way to store this so I don't have to drop it back down or I have to ask to have it sent up to me if I need to reposition what's in the tree. So I choose to store it on my lower D. It comes actually around the back side of my leg and hooks there. So when I put it on, it's on the back side of my leg out of the way. All right. I also like to carry a thimble prusik with me. I have another thimble prusik on my lanyard as well, right here, that provides me some more functionality of my lanyard that we'll get into when we start talking about lanyards more. But this really just is a multi-purpose tool. Having an additional one just gives me more options on how to use my lanyard or my climbing system in the tree to really benefit the way I need to climb. All right. So one thimble prusik. Carry an assortment of small micro carabiners. Micro carabiners come in lots of different handy times, clicking equipment on, sending my lunch up and down on the rope, or just simply utility of ascending my line. So I'm a single rope technique climber, and I use my micros as my tether when I'm pulling my system up the tree during my ascent. Next, I have my recoil lanyard, so my chainsaw. All right, it actually connects to the back of my saddle. It's nice bungee here. The carabiner that clips onto this though is a non-locking, it's a non-triple action carabiner. So it is a locking carabiner, but it's only 2 actions, meaning I rotate and open. It does not have a third action, so it can't be used as life support. But that's why I chose to go with a red color. For me on my saddle, things that are green are life support, things that are red are non-life support. It makes me able to keep control of it, and I understand what's going on, and I can think real quick, look down and see the color and move forward. Another tool I like to carry, I like to carry a revolver with a ring. The DMM revolver is a great tool that allows you to reposition through an M-rig in the tree. I have a ring on here, so if I need to run a cinch, I can run a cinch. Or during long descents, I can pair these two together and click it on my lower D-ring and actually can control my friction that way versus having it hit my hitch or my zigzag, which I'm running most right now. One of the most important things on my saddle is my first aid kit. In my first aid kit, I carry a tourniquet and blood clot. The only two tools that I carry, when I'm on my saddle and up in the tree, because if I cut myself, I really need to get out quickly and get to the ground. And these tools right here are going to be for life-threatening injuries that I know I have a limited time span to control the bleed prior to passing out. So I really want to make sure I only carry the things I absolutely need in the tree for first aid. I don't carry Band-Aids, don't carry any tweezers or anything like that. Those are all on the ground in my med kit that's in my bag. So if I need them, I can come to the ground and get them. Again, this is for life-threatening emergencies. The other thing I carry on my saddle is I carry an actual cutter. Right? This is a rope cutter device. It's actually for scuba diving. But this allows me to have a blade in the tree to cut myself free from a throw line entanglement. If, say, I ended up having to cut my rope for some reason to get out of the tree for an emergency, or I go to perform an aerial rescue and I have to cut clothing or cut some material off a climber to free them up for whatever reason, this allows me to do that without having an exposed blade. You can get these from most dive companies online as well. It's just a nice way. It'll actually cut up to a 13mm rope, but stays nice and control there and no open blade. I'm worried about falling out and hitting the ground. I'm not a big fan of climbing with pocket knives because of that reason. Moving around the saddle here, I carry a small wedge, a little pocket wedge. The pocket wedge really just allows me, in the quick need, I can slide it into a back cut, can stow my saw, finish the cut with my hand saw or push it over without having to worry about the saw getting set back down on or the cut sitting back down on the saw and pinching my saw. So especially when I'm doing snap cuts on a spar, I'll make my front cut, I'll make my back cut, slide my wedge into my back cut, take my saw out, put my saw on my side, and then I can pull the wedge out and push it over. And it just prevents me from having to ever have a chance of one-handing a saw. Over here I have the Keeper, which the Keeper is a new device that came out this year, and it's a lanyard management tool, all right? What it does is allows me to pull all the slack, get up here, pull all the slack out the tool, rotate it backwards, and then I can pull the slack back out, all right? And it's just a nice lanyard tool. Allows you to keep all your lanyards stowed nice and tight in this area here. I carry a 15-foot lanyard on my saddle. I keep about 8 feet coiled up here and the rest in the system. Because a lot of times I use my lanyard actually as a secondary climbing system. So I'll have my primary climbing system over here, and maybe my lanyard running as a secondary system through a single rope technique or double rope technique over here, moving rope system to allow me to triangulate and really get stabilized in my movements. Coming around to my lanyard, this is the DMM, the Teufelberger Hipstar Flex, all right? This used to be the CE lanyard, all right? Now it's called the Hipstar Flex. Just small different changes they went to, different size diameter material you can get with it, but the components are still the same. They're still DMM hardware, all right? You got your nice simple prusik here for adjustments. Comes in and out real easy, all right? I put a chafe sleeve on my lanyard just because I like the ability to put this around, say, a pine tree or trees that have high sap content and let this the lanyard slide through here versus the lanyard getting all coiled up or getting all nasty with pine pitch and those kind of things. Again, I have another thimble prusik here with a small micro, and that's where I use my tinned. All right. And lastly, the front of my saddle, I've got my bridge. And on my bridge, I run a large axis swivel, which allows me the ability to connect both vertically or in swivel in the alignment. Right? So that's why I carry my saddle. Again, lots of different saddles on the market. You know, there's a good entry-level saddles. This is more of a high-end, you know, a little bit more costly to get into, a lot more customization though. Find the saddle that works for you and your climbing style. It is not a one-size-fits-all market. Try lots of different saddles out, talk to manufacturers, talk to other climbers, and see what they like and why they like it. Again, I prefer this saddle because it's rebuildable for one. Two, it's a very adjustable saddle. It lets me really adjust how it fits me on the hips and back, because we all know what it's like at the end of a long day of climbing. You get out of the tree and you're tired and your hips are hurting. I find this saddle, I don't get that. Next, let's move my bag further up. All right, I've got my throw line cube. All right, lots of different ways to store throw line. I prefer to store my throw line in a cube. All right, this is a fall timer cube. Very simply opens up, and it's nice and stored. Has all my line in here. All right, a lot of new climbers talk about throw line a lot. And throw line is one of those tools that you'll use more than probably anything else in your bag. So really learning how to master throw line is key. One of the first things I learned about throw line when I went to my very first competition in Mobile, Alabama years ago was to actually carry 2 different weights on each end. So this allows me to have my throwing side and my retrieval side, all right? So when I need to pull a weight up and swing it back over a union, I go back and forth with 2 different bags on either side of my throw line versus having to take a weight off, put another weight on, all right? A lot of new climbers really have a tendency, they want to throw really light weights, all right? One of the best tools and tips I can give you is the fact to throw a heavier weight. Get to a 12, 14, or even a 16 ounce like I throw. Having that more weight on the bag allows you to use more of a pendulum when you throw to get the line higher in the tree. Again, using a lighter bag at first seems like the right idea, and a lot of climbers choose to do that. The problem with the lighter bag is it has a tendency to not fall as well to the ground. Once it doesn't fall as well to the ground, then it gets stuck and you have problems. So go with a heavier weight, make sure the line always comes to the ground. All right. Got an assortment of carabiners here, all different uses, all different needs. All right, I've got different ones with pulleys in them. I have my Pinto. Always carry a little bit of electrical tape because you never know what you're gonna need electrical tape for. And then I've got an assortment of other carabiners here. Down here, I've got my akimbo. All right. The akimbo sits here just as another tool. Got my handsaw over here. I prefer a curved blade handsaw. All right. Just a nice curved blade. Some people prefer a straight blade. Depends on the type of pruning you're doing. Ornamental pruning, a straight fine blade is much more advantage to you. You can get into tighter unions, you can make the cuts cleaner and more really in line with the standards. The curved blade with a large XL tooth like this is really more designed for removal work or really coarse pruning, where you're not making fine cuts, you're trying to get through the wood quickly and not expel a whole lot of energy. So make sure you have the right blade and the right saw designed for your style. On this side of my bag, I've got all my ascender gear. I've got my other foot ascender and I've got some spare foot loops. I've got extra throw weights. And then I have all of my devices I use for either my tip tie, my basal anchoring, or any type of frictionless system I'm gonna run on top of the tree in the upper canopy. So one of the tools I carry is a spider tail or a snake tail. And this just allows me to go around basal anchors really quickly and easily. It can also be used for redirects in the tree. I carry a thimble climb for my cinch device on spars, so I can put this around the tree, adjust it as needed for cinching, so I can get that cinching effect that's required in the Z133 when doing spar work. I carry a pulley saver as well, because a lot of times what I'll do is I'll single rope up, I'll set my pulley saver, change my system over to a moving rope system, and come out of the tree moving rope. So this just allows me to have a little less friction, I can triangulate my branches a little bit better, and get a little bit better position in the tree. Then I get onto my rope. Inside here, actually in my rope, I keep my zigzag and my chicane attached about halfway down. So once I have my throw line in the tree, I can pull this rope up about halfway. It's about 80 feet, and that's when my zigzag will come out of the bag. And that allows me to really have it on at all times. I don't have to play with trying to thread it through the end of the rope and run it all the way up. It's just something I've learned to do over the years. The top of my bag is where I carry my first aid kit. All right. I carry a steel chainsaw tool, multi-tool here. So that's always a good thing to have because you never know when you're going to need a multi-tool. And it has everything I need to pretty much work on any saw I'm working with. I've got EpiPens because I'm allergic to bees, so I always carry my EpiPens with me. And then I have a real quick first aid kit. This first aid kit you can pick up from most Army surplus stores, and it rolls open, and you can have all the different tools you may need for first aid in here. Everything from small bandages, tweezers. I even carry a spray adhesive bandage called Flex Seal. It's a great device, a great tool for small cuts, especially when you're working outside and you know you're gonna be sweating. That Band-Aid's not gonna stick at the end of the day. Take this, spray this on the wound. This will disinfect the wound. It also has a little bit of a numbing agent in it, so it won't, you know, keep some of the pain down, you know, especially from those gnarly thorn bushes we get into, some of those nasty scrapes that just keep on oozing and bleeding. This really is a great tool for that. Carry a small pair of scissors in here, some different size dressings, some tape, and some first aid ointment, all right? And really that's all I carry in my bag. It looks like a lot of gear, and it is a lot of gear, but it's always having the right tool to do the job. When at the end of the day, what makes a climber efficient is gonna be how well they store their tools for efficiency of access and how well they use their tools. All these different tools in the market we all have access to. Try them out, talk to manufacturers, talk to other climbers, and find what works for you. That's the beauty of being a tree climber, is that you can do it your way, how you choose to do it. There is no right, there is no wrong. Right? So this is a real easy, quick rundown on what I carry, and I look forward to hearing more and seeing what you carry. Thank you and have a great day.